Tonight on Equestria Redacted, we're covering probably one of the biggest stories we've covered in a while. Strap yourselves in, folks. This may be a long one. But first, of course, we have to cover the new episode, Horseplay. In this episode, Twilight and her friends want to hold a special play for Princess Celestia's 1-versary. You know, her 1,111th anniversary of her raising the sun. But mind you, it only works if it's the 11th day of the 11th month at the exactly 11:11. Okay? If you're gonna do this, Twilight, you better do this right! Their solution is a play, as previously mentioned. However, there turns out to be one big problem. Celestia is a horrible actress, but Twilight wants to spare Celestia's feelings, so she doesn't tell him that. Instead, gives her acting classes, where wacky hijinks ensues. Also, I love their portrayal of the acting teachers, because they're just so pretentious and nonsense, and I can't help but love. They just sort of talk in this way, like they're always in another world. And I just love watching it. This episode in general was just really, really funny. Easily better than the last two episodes were. I'd say it was up there with Fake It Till You Make It, honestly. I think Fake It Till You Make It, I think I had a little bit more fun watching. But this is up there. And remember, guys, Season 8 was supposed to be a tragedy when, so far, the worst episodes have been kind of boring. This is amazing, you know that? Yeah, you do. The quote, or I guess in this case, word of the episode is anti-disestablishmentarianism. Or as I like to call it, my new political philosophy. Yes, I am officially an anti-disestablishmentarian. But really, who isn't in this day and age? But I'd like to introduce a new segment to the show. It's called My Predictions for Next Week. You see, websites like Equestria Daily contain countdowns to the new episodes, even including the title of them. Next week's episode is going to be called The Parent Map. So I'm going to assume it's going to be about the parents of maps. We are going to learn how maps are created and their life cycles, including when they're young childhood maps going off to map schools, and afterwards, when they become full adult maps. I think that's reasonable. Now, I'm going to be honest, I can't wait to start the news segment of this week because the stories I found just after I recorded last week's episode. And I've been wanting to talk about them all week. It's been nearly impossible. If you follow me on Twitter, you may know I've let some of my opinions slip on them from time to time, but I wanted to save the full enchilada until here tonight. First off, Toon is back, guys! Yes, everybody's favorite pedophile has returned. I guess he saw the negative reception towards Performance Major and said, well, I'm better than him. Vita made a list went into the server and found some people that he was involved with. One of them is more than likely just a spy. I'm not sure which one, though, so if someone could clarify that, it would be great. Here's what he had to say. Guess what? Magic Dude, someone who's in this server, just predictably cracked under pressure. I give you the people inside Toon's new server who are his friends. These are Admirable Sparkle, Jedi Padawan Daniel, Magic Dude, Anime Guy 01, Jack Redplay, Key to Our Hearts, Nighthawk, and Solar Ray, who I assume owns the server. Okay, so you think that's bad, but it gets better. Shelly D also went into that server, or at least he got screenshots from that server, and I'm just gonna read you Solar Ray's message because it is truly a work of art. Hello folks, so some of you may wonder why you are here. As the creator of this server, let me explain. On March 27th, 2018, Toon Critic made a surprise return to his fan server after realizing the presence of the user Vita. Of course it's Vita, this is why I love Vita so much. Toon began to mass delete his text and then delete the entire server. But he did nothing wrong. As I was in contact with Zach at the time, I decided to see what was up. Eventually I decided to create this server in case there were other people who were in the old one at the time of his deletion. Why are people still in his fan servers? What I want to know. Well, I could reiterate my theory that they all just keep each other's secrets, but that's a conspiracy theory, apparently. You know, ignore the fact that it's been kind of proven I'm right. Eventually I decided to create this server in case there were other people who were in his old server. Okay, I already read that. This server has only one rule. Only tell people that you and Zach trust. We don't want another Vita incident. And then guess what happened? If Zach says they're okay and they have a Discord, bring them in. It is a shame. Now I will never be in Zach's Discord. I cry every time. As you all know by now, Toon/Cartoons Z, he spelt it with a Z for some reason, a capital Z at that, is no more. No! But Zach has changed his ways! This time he changed his ways, and I know more about that than a lot of people do, considering how I was reporting on what his ways were a year before anyone else figured it out. Yeah, back then I thought the worst thing about him was he was a pig. Now it turns out he's an actual pedophile. And a downright, no, not downright, actually is a sexual predator. As you all, okay. And it's continuing to be better than he was. Keep telling yourselves that. If you want to see what happened before this server went public, feel free to look back on the past conversations I've had with Zach. Unfortunately, those have not been posted. And as long established, I'll never be in these servers. I know. It's truly a sad story. So have fun. Contact me or Zach with any questions you have, and I hope to see, he spelled C wrong, by the way, you soon. Keep burning bright. Oh, I will. Also, it's worth knowing that out of the 3 people Sheldon tagged in those tweets, Admirable Sparkle, or is that how it is? Sparker? I think that's what it's supposed to be. Has protected his Twitter account. I don't know if that's related. It's possible it's just always been like that and I didn't notice. I never heard this guy before this, so I don't know. Reading the descriptions are mildly amusing, though. Jedi Pony Daniel. I'm a 24-year-old. I'm a Christian. No comma or period, by the way. He's a 24-year-old. He's a Christian. For that matter, it's Christians and gays that are the most likely to be accepting towards pedophiles. Yeah, remember Frostbite? I don't know what it is all of a sudden in the brony community. He also loves Star Wars, which puts him in a real disconnect with Adam Sparker, who is a self-described Star Trek nut. But he's also a dragon, so I assume most people don't get in fights with him about that one. How would that even go? Hey, Star Wars is better. Yeah, well, I'm a dragon. And then he just melts their head off. I'm having way too much fun here. Now this went on for longer than expected, so we're going to need to rush right into our next story. I don't even have time to cover Brony Inspector's spring cleaning, but I do have just enough time to cover the hatch he put in the wall to make the beer bottles go away. Yes, Josh Scorcher released a cease and desist order on Lily Pete. Well, okay, he released it in the same way lettuce is a food, if that makes sense. You are technically right in saying that's what it is, but it presents a very misleading picture. As you see, this has not been notarized in any official way, meaning it essentially has about as much value as me putting up a stop sign online. You're not going to do anything with it because there's no reason to do anything with it. Here, I can write an equally valid cease and desist letter right now. Give me a second. This is my equally valid cease and desist notice to all of the meanies. Stop it, as it says in the notice. You must all now abide by this. But okay, let's actually read the cease and desist. Maybe it makes a good point. Dear Miss Lillian Orchard, you are hereby decreed to cease and desist, he puts it in all caps, all harassment and cyberbullying and defamation. Little nitpick, but it should be harassment, comma, cyberbullying, comma, and defamation. Of my character and reputation. This cease and desist order is to inform you that your persistent actions, including but not limited to twisting my words and speaking lies about my conversation with Patchwork Heart, the conversation she was in, by the way, deliberately and maliciously placing calls reasonably expected to be private in a public sphere for intent of defamation. Wait a minute. So you don't want her, you say she's lying about the conversation with Patch, but you also want her to take down the conversation with Patch, aka the proof that you're lying. Wait, that she's lying. What? Wait, what? Also, a quick trip to Google would tell you that defamation, by definition, is something that is wrong. If you said it, it's not defamation. You idiot. Like, was there a fake Josh Scorcher pretending to be you that Lily Pete inserted into those calls? If so, please tell me how she found that technology. Using your fanbase and friends to send repeated and relented harassment and false flagged my video or work I worked in, especially the Brony D&D videos as shown below. Okay, so let's actually look at this. Now, the first bullet point is not Lily saying to flag the videos. It's spam dislike his videos, flooding his comments, rate his streams will probably be the most effective. Notice how none of those are flag. And you could stop all of those by turning off ratings and comments or chats and streams, but you have too much dignity to do that, Josh. And the second screenshot is of Zane, who is notably not Lily Pete. But okay, let's actually look at the proof that he has. The first thing he lists is threatening physical harm. Now, mind you, Josh is terrible at how he stores things. He doesn't like use an archive site or anything. He just sort of posts media of it, and let me just show you. I haven't done this in a while. Let me just put my camera to the screen and show you. This is how Josh stores things. This is equal distance. Actually, you're a little closer than I am when I'm trying to read it. Why? I tried zooming into it so it's at least readable, but mind you, then it's extremely blurry. So just... Durr! If you're wondering, the actual threat of violence is using the metaphorical phrase, hold a gun to burner's head. Which, may I remind you, is clearly a metaphor. This is like me suing someone because they said break a leg. You know, you have to know. The second one is to kill him, but because Josh is, again, not very good at this, he linked the actual dashboard post, which gives me an error screen for some reason. And the third one, saying I should die, is a link to an E4B post. I'm not making this up. The cease and desist is in the description if you don't believe me. And the only thing that's posted by Lily is a screenshot of the first post he linked. Although I will say this, the E4B post tagged Hi Ephrom into it, so I was officially dragged into this at this point. Repeated and relentless use of ad hominem attacks against me in public settings, which is not a crime, and in case you're wondering, it links to Lily comparing Josh to Hydra Cap, which isn't a crime, still, and stealing my ideas simply to spite me. Now this one Josh actually uses an archive on. Don't know why I couldn't be bothered for the last couple. Here's what happened. Anonymous asked, so Josh is now trying to rip off Jello Apocalypse with Season 1 in 10 words or less. Since you tend to be more creative with your clones of other YouTubers, could you one-up him? Lily said, oh, he's going by season? How about I do the whole series in one go? Here's the thing, though, Josh. Both of you took that idea from Jello Apocalypse, as mentioned in the post. It's not stealing your ideas if they aren't your ideas. He does include other examples of defamatory statements, this time with no source, by the way. Here's what are apparently defamatory in this day and age, according to Josh. I bullied Patchwork Heart into relenting about Brony D&D. You just did. That's just an objective fact. I said wildly racist things when you were working for me. This is talking about him trying to compare Spike to a slave. Just reminding everyone what that statement is about because Josh really doesn't want you to remember it. I am a fake Marine. That's entirely opinion-based. I am a fake Christian. That's also entirely opinion-based. That can't be defamation if it's an opinion. Otherwise, I could sue you for disliking an MLP episode I like. If she said you weren't a Marine or you weren't a Christian, then maybe, but especially the second one. I've seen Christians call each other fake Christians in my entire life. You know, that's entirely based on your specific interpretation of Christianity, at least from my understanding it is. I don't know. I'm an atheist, so I don't know. Maybe there is some real meeting every Christian goes to. I don't mean like a church. I mean literally every single one of them in the same room where they all say, okay, you're real, you're real, you're real, you're not real. Here's the final section. To ensure compliance with this letter, and to halt any legal action I may take against you, I require you to fill in and sign the attached form and scan or fax it back to me within 10 days of your recipient of this letter. Failure to do so will act as evidence of your infringement upon my legal rights, and I will immediately seek legal advance to remedy this situation. He doesn't have any legal backing to say this, by the way. He's trying to force someone into a contract, more or less. And remember that 10-day time period, because that has not expired yet. And we'll get to why that's a little bit important in a minute. But yeah, then it ends in the signing. He didn't even print it out himself, by the way. Just pointing that out. Now, I mentioned a 10-day time period because it has not expired yet. And yet, Josh posted this only 3 days ago. Hey everyone, I have a bit of an announcement. I'm taking a month hiatus. There are multiple factors going into this decision. 1, I need to finish my schoolwork. 2, I need to focus on getting the restraining order placed. More than likely against Lily Pete. He's doing this before he says he has any legal right to do so, as the time limit he gave Lily Pete has not expired yet, and is not going to expire until I think next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Also, Josh doesn't know how restraining orders work. It can only involve in someone not being a certain distance away from you, or close to you in this case. For instance, I can get a restraining order saying someone can't be within 100 yards of me. Or it could keep someone from contacting you. Both of which Lily Pete has been complying with pretty heavily, considering how you two live in entirely different countries. Unless you're going to move to Canada just to spite Lily Pete. Nothing about this makes any sense. I figured we wouldn't just end it there. We'd look at some supporters of Josh because, yeah, despite being bullied by Lily Pete, Josh has over 3 times the fans Pete does, as far as I'm aware. And mind you, Pete hides her sub count, so according to these guys, it's probably closer to what, 10 times? In order for there to be bullying, there needs to be a power dynamic. And the power dynamic is heavily shifted in Josh's favor. Ocean, Ocean, I think is what I was supposed to be pronounced. O-S-E-A-N. Ocean. Ocean Kitty, aka Mike, had this to say. I love the fact that Lily's White Knights, trademark, are basically reading a script. They have nothing to counter the mountain of evidence. The mountain of evidence! That shows that P has been encouraging harassment. Josh and others. He didn't say of, by the way. These people do not live in the same reality we do. I want to make that clear. They live in a different reality than us, okay? From here on out, we're going to be looking at a variety of posts from a variety of users. Sorry this is a little disjointed. I'm literally just looking at posts as I find them. We'll start off with Space Mare posting on E4B. By the way, they use the HookTube link instead of the YouTube link because it's for anyone that wants to watch it and not give Lily 2 cents. That sounds very bitter, but okay. This is comedy gold right here. Not only does she know the document, which we already said is pretty illegal in itself, she gives him only more evidence to further his case. The beard makes you look like a fake Christian and a predator. He didn't say and a fake Christian. She just said and a predator. Really, Lily? You just had to go there? It's not illegal to compare someone to something. It is illegal to say he is a predator, though. But she's skirting just on that line, which is very important. Denver then said this. I couldn't make it through 2 minutes of that. We know he's a credible source. Don't want to reblog more of this drama, but will for this. Lily is just unhinged. Anyone would see this as a metaphor. Oh, so you're gonna pull the, oh, it was just a joke / not real card. I seem to recall you saying that jokes of this nature are still very harmful. 1, citation needed. 2, there's no law against hypocrisy. Now, I don't like hypocrisy, and I talk about that all the time, but in the legal context, it's completely irrelevant. But even then, The metaphor he's referring to is the pointing a gun to his head metaphor. Notice how he conveniently ignores that. Drop dead is not the same thing as wanting to kill you. Oh, that makes it so much better. In a legal context, yes, because laws need to be interpreted literally. By the way, making jokes and mocking Josh's voice is just going to give him more ammo for when he takes legal actions. Your Honor, she mocked my voice. Here's another post from the cat. I love this one. Anonymous asked Lily Pete, or said to Lily Pete, I guess, I had a hunch that Josh is a rapist. Lily then said, Josh is afraid of his own genitals, so I doubt his amorality goes that far. And what did the cat call this blog? Lily is now accusing Josh as a fucking rapist. You can... I never learned to read the post. And you wonder why I don't take you people seriously. Here's some more. This guy named Keyblade Overlord asked, I just checked Patchwork's Tumblr, and they unfortunately still believe Josh wronged them and that he is in the wrong. Kind of redundant, but okay. For sending a cease and desist to Lily, thinking he is trying to kill everyone he doesn't like. I feel so bad that Patch has fallen into Lily's brainwashing. Yes, Lily Pete trains a mind control device, and she put it on Patch when she was sleeping. When they were sleeping. Little known fact. And it sends out a signal that forces Patch to only agree with Lily Pete. That actually happened. I want to talk to them about it, but I don't want them to feel like I am their enemy. Well, when you're saying they're brainwashed, it's kind of easy for people to think that. The E4Bs, in this case Anime Wolf Gamer, said, Trust me, I want to do something to break Patchwork away from her, but sadly, that isn't the case anymore. I feel the only way they will do that is when Pete does the same to Josh, and do the worst to her, which none of us want, but it is already shown that they are not learning after what Toon did to them, and the fact that there could be a chance of them being a liar doesn't help either in that case. Yeah, what did Toon do? And for that matter, what did the rest of the fandom do when that was announced? Let's talk about that. Sega then said this beautiful piece of art. 1. Lily has already done worse, and she still has her foot soldiers waiting to die in battle. Again, brainwashing device, okay? That explains everything. And then Brittany entered in, and like she is Brittany, of course it was overdramatic. Lily has convinced Patch that everyone else that Josh is doing this in order to silence Toon's victims, which isn't anyone close to reality. In other words, Lily is once again pawning responsibility off on innocent parties. She's a cult leader. Not even a liar anymore, she's a cult leader now. Of course. Would you really expect anything less? And now it's time for Does Sega Sister Understand Anything? I'm your host, Ephrom Josine. Today's episode is on whether or not Sega Sister understands what metaphors are. Here's what she had to say to Lily Orchard. You're still under the delusion that wanting to hold a gun to someone's head for the safety of the fandom is a criticism. The answer is, of course, not. She's still spewing that line. She's still spewing that easily debunked line. That doesn't even make any sense. Yes. Yes, Lily really said she was going to go over and physically hold a gun to Josh's head. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course that's what these people believe. Here's some more. Chris Caliburn had this to say recently. You know, because of the bicycle meme, they posted a meme of, the bicycle thing, and Lily fell off and screamed it was Josh Scorcher's fault. Which she clearly really said, by the way. And the mention of her narcissistic disorder, I'm halfway convinced that someone can convince Lily that Josh will actually bring about the freaking end of the world if they tried hard enough. This is a very compelling argument, as you can tell. Mind you, by the way, the select few posts I'm showing you, I had to dig to find all of these. There's just like 5 posts in between all of these, and all of them are equally ridiculous, by the way. It's just these ones are ridiculous in different ways. So remember, I'm giving you the abridged version of these people's posts in a day. For that matter, these people like to say that Lily Pete fans are a cult or that they can't take criticism. When they post things like this, there's a screenshot of somebody, an anonymous person, sending Lily an ask that's essentially saying that they hope Josh never reproduces. Lily then said, if Josh is still on that saving first kiss for marriage thing, he definitely will not breed. And this is what Death Pony had to say. Can I get a new term for shooting yourself in the foot to describe the stupidity, arrogance, and borderline creepy levels of Pete's fetish towards Josh? She made a light-hearted jab towards him. Also, I'm pretty sure that this Aeon is Lily sending herself asks so she can continue bitching and moaning about Ted Burner because his totally won't explode in your fist. Your fist. Oh, wait. And if that Aeon wasn't real, then wasn't Pete, then here's my rebuttal. You are fucking sick and need mental help, you cunt bitch. All of that for making a lighthearted jab towards Josh. Here's some insanity not entirely related to Josh. When Lily posted a bottle of pills on her Tumblr with the caption, or 2 fucking years and finally, E4B had some theories, one of which being, or in this case JoJo's theory, Lily has been neglecting to take her antidepressants for 2 years and her current behavior is proof of that, seeing as she has also adopted a pseudo-Scientology stance on psychiatrists and antidepressants as a tool of mind control. Anyone who watched Self-Destruction is currently laughing themselves to death right now. And it's all your fault, JoJo. Anyway, this is the longest episode right now, and we're not going to make it any longer from here on out. So, hope you enjoyed. I'm Ephrom, and good night.